welcome back everybody. In this video we're going to be talking about A Clockmaker's Tale. This is a game I just made for the Game Boy Showdown. This is a game jam hosted by Tronimal. He is I think he's a German music producer that produces his music on Game Boy. And this year's theme was time. And so they have like examples here. It says, let your game play in the past or future. Have a timer-based game, or let some tiny characters explore the insides of a clock. And I think it's that insides of a clock that like made me think. Obviously, I had some original ideas, but the final game isn't really the same as the original game, which is kind of expected. I'll just run through my original ideas, and then I can talk about what the game is now, and then I'll talk about what I liked during the jam and what I didn't like, and then this is recorded just before the game jam finishes. So after this, I will be able to play everybody else's games. I can't wait. I would love to review them. Yeah. So my original idea for like the time theme was the idea of every movement you take costs time, and there would be like an overworld movement. So imagine you zoom out and you're a tiny like dot on the map, and every time you move it costs you time, and you have to go to clock towers you have to go to towns to fix clocks to get time back in order to move forward through the world to get to the final place where you want to go, right? So the idea of you need time and you need to fix clocks to get time was the original idea. And like when you get to a town, it was going to then zoom in and be more like what we see in this game now. But the movement I was thinking that would be, in the overworld, like zoomed out, would be like you're, in like a caravan or something. You would be in like a carriage, so like a wheeled vehicle of some kind. And I decided against that because obviously I make loads of car games, and I have the other game called the Tanker, which was a prototype which I was making on my channel, which I didn't feel like I wanted to basically copy that and change it slightly. I wanted to leave that game as it was and come back to it down the line, and this one be a completely fresh experience. So I basically removed everything from that idea that would complicate it. So the two frames of like looking at the game. So the zoomed out version and then the zoomed in version. I was just like, why don't I just have the zoomed in version? Zoomed in versions are very easy. And so I basically thought to myself, yep, that's basically what I'll do. I'll just simplify it. I also took out some crazy ideas from like, every movement you take costs time, and it's just the theme of time is just based on the ideas of clocks. So by simplifying it, I made it easier for myself to finish, right? And especially with the mini game of fixing the clock, I'm just getting into it now in the game. So here, I had loads of bugs. So for example, if I click on this thing and if I was to mash the keys, before it would sometimes just go completely out of control and disappear off the screen, and then it wouldn't come back. And also, if you try and go left off the screen or something, it would then disappear forever and never come back. So I had loads of bugs, and I didn't want to invest too much time on something that I was thinking about just removing. I was thinking about just completely removing this aspect and just being like, when you go up to the clock, it says, let me see what I can do. And instead of coming to this, it then just says, oh, there are parts missing, you know what I mean? And then you would have to go to the other clock towers to get parts. And that's basically how the story of the game works, right? So by simplifying it, it meant that I didn't focus on parts that I didn't think were necessary too much. If I was to maybe do this again and I was to say to myself I didn't really want the story or moving around, I would just focus on this clock puzzle and then make some really good puzzles. But because it was so buggy, I didn't focus on it. But I did manage to fix some of the bugs in the end, and it made it a kind of like worse experience, I guess. Like it's a bit more clunky now, but it means that it doesn't break so easily. I think it can still break, which is a shame. But yeah. Yeah, so let me now talk about what I liked and what I didn't like while I was making this game. So it may be clear to, I mean, it was clear to me, but it might not be clear to you guys. But obviously the first ever game I made in GB Studio was called A Western Ballad. And this one's called A Clockmaker's Tale. And obviously even the titles is similar. And I think the gameplay itself is also very similar. You're just moving around, talking to people, and then moving the story forward. It really doesn't have much else. This one has the clockwork puzzle, but like I said, I was even considering removing it. So yeah, I actually enjoyed going back to my roots, so to say. The idea that I would be making a story game in GB Studio, and I've said it many times before, but I don't think I'm very good at writing stories. But I actually felt like this story was somewhat decent. Like I felt like it had some kind of meaning to it, and like the theme of time, I tried to make sure the clocks were the central part of the story. So yeah, I liked that it was inspired by A Western Ballad, both how I made the game and like how the final product actually works. It was also really nice working on something fresh. Obviously, you know, I've been working on Take It Racing 2 for like, I don't know, 2 years almost, which is crazy. And although that is moving forward very slowly, I do enjoy working on it. But working on something fresh like this is really, I don't know, it feels great. It feels great to have made something within a week and then be able to walk away from it back to Take It Racing 2. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I also obviously practiced making simple character designs. You see this guy here. He might not look too like good from each angle. Like for example, this angle, I don't know what he looks like, but from this angle he looks different. So arguably it's not very good, but I still practiced it, which is fine. And also I also did the open world. So one of my comments already says about the world feeling huge, and I deliberately made it so if you zoom out, it's really easy to like figure out where you're going. But because I made it so big, it feels huge. And I think that adds to like the fact that the towns feel far away. And that obviously does come from the fact that the original idea was meant to be like an overworld exploration. And then every move you take costs time, and that's like part of a puzzle, right? But yeah, it definitely changed. And the world building stayed the same, like the huge map design, right? But I think that's for the better. I think it's fine. And obviously, I did make music for this as well. Obviously, you can't hear it in this video because the music often clashes with my voice, which is a shame. But I did make music, so if you want to listen to it, then you can go and play it. I made 2 different tracks. One of them is when you're just walking around the overworld. It's just simple, like, fading in and fading out chords. And then the other one is like a tick-tock when you're inside the clock. And then just that's one again is just sped up when you succeed. So it's just like you fix the clock's ticking faster kind of thing, which is nice. So that's everything I liked when I was making the game, but I also have some things I didn't like. Mainly the feeling that the game isn't done, so I couldn't relax or I couldn't go out. And that's especially near the end, right? Where the game is almost done, and to waste time by, going out and even going shopping or something would be wasting time. And that's why I cut so many corners with this game, is because, life is still going on. I think I preferred the game jam, the GB compo that was 3 months long. Obviously, I made 3 games in that, so it was a completely different experience to this 1 week one. But the idea that you don't have to spend all your time working on something in order to make the best product possible, I think is better for me personally. Yeah, also along the same lines, I obviously didn't make a video this week because I was working on this game. Originally, I planned on making a video every single day to track this game's progress, but as soon as I started, I realized that I needed time to figure out what I actually wanted from the game, and by then, recording and documenting what I was thinking and then having to edit it was kind of like a waste of time, seeming as though it was obviously going to change anyway. And obviously, it would have been nice to, track what I did each day and, give you guys a snippet of it. I feel like overall, I the game is probably better for the fact that I didn't waste hours every single day making and editing and uploading a video. Maybe I'll do it in the future, but it definitely wasn't, for this game jam. So yeah, obviously I'll be uploading this video today on Sunday rather than during the week. So it's been more than a week since my last video, which I haven't done in a long time. I normally upload at least once every single week. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't like about my time during the game jam. But overall, I'm very glad I did it. I practiced skills that I hadn't in a long time. For example, the music, for example, and also the world building, and like the story writing. That I definitely enjoyed doing that, and I think I'm better off for having done it. And it's also nice now getting to play the game that I made. Like, obviously, I know exactly how it's played, and I can play it without even reading anything, which is a bit, bit sad in a way. But obviously, I made it, so I know exactly what the hell is happening. But it's fun, and like I did like making the music. It's also fun reading the comments and getting people's feedback. So yeah, I'm glad I did it, and I'm thinking now, obviously, that this game could, grow into more. This is definitely like a demo kind of thing where the game technically is done, but obviously could be fleshed out way more. But yeah, I'll try and keep this video short so I can enjoy the rest of my weekend, since I've had a busy week. But yeah, I'll put my patrons up on screen right now. Thank you so much to you guys. You guys are the best. Remember to like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go and play my game. Tell me what you think. By the time I upload this video, the game jam should be over by now, and you can play everyone else's as well. If you submitted, then you can vote for 14 days, it looks like. But otherwise, leaving feedback and playing other people's games is a great way to support them. Yeah, leave a comment on what you thought of this video and what you want to see in the future, and I'll see you in the next video.